All right, welcome back to Photoshop. So today we're going to go over a cool little trick to turn any image inside of Photoshop into a vector. Now, if you can't remember the difference between a raster image and a vector, a raster image, this photo right now is a raster image. It is made up of pixels. A vector image is perfectly smooth. So if you were to zoom into a line or something inside of this image, and we'll come over here to this belt, you will see that this edge isn't perfectly smooth. It's actually made up of a bunch of pixels. A vector image would be perfectly smooth, solid line. Now, what that allows you to do is scale an image without loss of quality. So today, I'm going to show you how to make this image into a vector. Now, this process has become so easy. The first thing that we need to do is we're going to select him out of the background. So we're going to go up to our new object selection tool. We'll go up here and hit select subject. And Photoshop should do a pretty good job. So right here, we can see it accidentally added this little knot in the wood. So we're going to hold Alt Option and circle that. And we are telling Photoshop, hey, we don't want that. Still has a little bit in there. And that's going to be pretty good. We can easily go in and erase that. Now, normally after making a selection, I would definitely go up in here to select and mask and refine that mask to make it more appropriate and just a better selection in general. However, since we are going to make this a vector, there's really no need for us to kind of go in here and make a better selection to this mask. Now that we've made this selection, we're going to come over here and we are going to check and make a mask. And so we have eliminated that background. I'm going to go ahead and flatten that layer because it will actually turn that translucent layer into black and I want it to be white. So now we have this selection and it's just our subject and that is all I want. Our next step is we're going to come up here and go to Window and drop down to Libraries. Now, everybody who has an Adobe Cloud account is going to have their own library. You're going to be able to access your library from either your computers or any mobile devices that you have Adobe products stored on them. Just about anybody should be able to get access to any of this information. Right down here, we have a plus. We're going to go ahead and click that. And then we have three options: something from a foreground color, a graphic, or in our case, from an image. So we're going to go ahead and select that. Now it's going to bring up a bigger window and I'm just going to enlarge this just so it's a little bit more visible on a video. And our first option is to create a pattern from this photo. Now, obviously, this is not something that we really want to do, but anybody could come in here and you can create any sort of pattern. You have different options as the way the patterns are going to look or work. You can scale those patterns and you can rotate those patterns. Now, we're not going to be making a pattern today, but it's helpful, I think, to just kind of come in here and show you the different options that are available. The next is color themes. So you can see that Adobe has gone in here and picked some colors and is giving us a color theme that we could use when creating or using this graphic. So right here are the different swatches and the color codes associated with them. We can come in here and change those. We can do bright, muted, deep, dark, and none. The last thing that we have as an option is to come in here and kick gradients. And it is going to pick some colors within the image that we see and create a gradient that we could use inside of our image. Now, anytime in any one of these categories that you wanted to save something, I could simply come in here and just go save to CC libraries, and you can see it automatically saved that. Now, what we want to do is actually use something called shapes. Shapes is what's going to turn this into a vector graphic for us. Up here on the top right, we have a little shape, and I'm going to open that. Right under shape, we have detail. And as we slide to the left, we decrease the detail. And as we slide to the right, we're going to increase the detail in our image. Now we have the ability to actually come in here and erase from this image. So I can come and click this little erase button. This is controlling the size of the eraser. So right now it's pretty large. I can come in here and reduce that and make that much smaller. And then if there are little areas that I actually don't want in my image, I can simply just come up here and erase those areas with this. I'm going to go ahead and close that because we're done erasing. I can invert my image and I can smooth on save. And this is where it's going to be creating that vector image for us. So I'm going to go ahead and click smooth on save. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click save to CC libraries. It's going to go through its process. It's going to save that. And then we are going to be able to use that and apply it to our vector graphic inside of Photoshop. Now, once it's done saving that image, we're going to either have the ability to come up here and save something else to the library or go ahead and just hit close. And now we are back to our original image, but you can see right here, it is saved that gradient, and over here, it is saved that graphic to our library. We're going to come up here and we're going to create a new document. So I'm going to go up to File, New, and I'm just going to create something that's 5 by 5 at 300 pixels per inch. And that is going to go ahead and open. I'm just going to reduce down the size so we can see that a little bit easier. Now that we have this new document open, it's really easy. If we want to add our graphic to this image, all we need to do is just kind of drag this over into this spot. Now this is a vector, so we are able to scale this without any loss of quality. I can enlarge it to the size that I want. I can either click the checkbox or just come in here and hit return on my computer. I'm going to grab my move tool, and that's just going to allow me to move and center the selection or center this image wherever I want. And that is it. And that is how you create a vector from an image inside of Photoshop. Now, if you wanted to use this gradient on this image, it's really easy. All you'd need to do is sort of double click and add this image over here. So you could just double click. It's automatically going to add that gradient to this image. And just like that, you've created this amazing vector in a very, very simple process. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave those below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe.